man, bruh did a song with Lul Tim.
Lul Tim is straight up clowning the living daylights out of OTF and the whole O-Block camp right now, after NBA Youngboy went and dropped a whole record with their day one homie, Chief Keef. But it turns out, Sosa hated both Durk and King Von. According to the streets, Von killed Sosa's cousin.
They was taunting him saying they killed his cousin, was insinuating Von was insinuating he killed his cousin.
Stole his jewelry.
You know, Von and them stole all his back in the day.
And even stole his guns.
Von robbed Sosa for 2 guns. He took 2 guns from him.
And there's much more to this story that you don't know about. Let me put you on game. The song that broke the internet. Now look, if you've been tapped into hip-hop Twitter, plugged into the gram, scrolling through TikTok, or really just lurking on any corner of the internet that keeps tabs on rap beef over the last few days, then you already peeped what's going down. And bruh, I ain't even gonna front, the whole culture went absolutely bonkers. Like, the amount of rage, the disbelief, the straight-up fury that flooded every single timeline is on a level we ain't seen in a minute, a long minute. And what sparked all this chaos, all this pandemonium, all this pick a side or get out the way energy? One track. A single joint called Rooms, the record, cooked up by hitmaker Mike Will Made It and featuring none other than Chief Keef alongside NBA Youngboy, dropped in mid-February 2026. And the very millisecond it touched the streaming platforms and those previews started making the rounds on socials, the entire rap game collectively lost its whole mind. Because on paper, this collab ain't supposed to exist. Not in this timeline, not in this reality, not after everything, and I mean every single thing, that has gone down between these two camps over the past several years. And yet, here we are, staring dead in the face at what might low-key be one of the most controversial link-ups in modern hip-hop history. Now, for those of y'all who might not fully comprehend the magnitude, the sheer gravity of what's popping off right now, let me break the whole picture down for you real quick, because the backstory to this situation is absolutely critical if you want to understand why the streets are reacting the way they are. Chief Keef, born Keith Farrell Cozart, is the founding father of Chicago's drill movement, blowing up in the early 2010s with bangers like I Don't Like and Love Sosa. This man is, and I cannot stress this enough, the GOAT of drill rap, the one who kicked the door clean off the hinges for every single drill artist that came up after him. He was raised in O-Block, that's Parkway Garden Homes on the south side of Chicago, a housing project that got its name from the late O.D. Perry, a fallen gang member. And he started Glow Gang, formerly Glory Boys Entertainment. Bruh didn't just come from that hood, he put that hood on the whole map. He gave it a voice that echoed around the globe. He turned it into a cultural movement that shaped an entire generation of rap music worldwide. Without Chief Keef, drill music doesn't exist, period. Point blank. End of discussion. NBA Youngboy, Kentrell Deshaun Gaulden, is the prolific Baton Rouge spitter with arguably the most dedicated, the most ride or die, and quite frankly, the most militant fan base in all of modern hip-hop. This dude has dropped well over 100 projects, tapes, albums, Lucy's, at a clip that defies all logic. He's been posted up on house arrest in Utah but stays dropping heat and touring, pulling massive numbers on every single platform. And here's where this whole situation gets 10 times more complicated, where the layers start stacking on top of each other in ways that'll make your head spin. Youngboy is directly plugged in with Quando Rondo, the Savannah, Georgia rapper who's right-hand man, a cat by the name of Lul Tim, the very individual who is dead center of today's whole saga, was hit with charges for the fatal shooting of King Von on November 6, 2020, outside an Atlanta hookah lounge. And King Von wasn't just some regular rapper. He was one of O-Block's most cherished sons, a legendary storyteller and drill, signed to Lil Durk's OTF imprint, and considered by damn near everybody to be a brother, not a homeboy, not an associate, a straight-up brother to Durk himself. So when Chief Keef, an O-Block native, born and raised, linked up with NBA Youngboy, whose whole circle includes the man who caught the body on Von, well, you can imagine how the ops and the loyalists took that news. The streets were hot, the track itself. And let's actually chop it up about the music for a sec, because people stay forgetting there's an actual song underneath all this drama. Is a high-octane, aggressive banger that's got the culture split down the middle, not just on the politics, but on the straight-up quality. Chief Keef's verse is loaded to the brim with drill-style bravado, packed with violent imagery and street talk, including the now viral bar, "Put his head with the spikes up in the mother fridge," a line that fans and commentators been picking apart bar by bar, syllable by syllable, because hella people believe it contains subliminal shots aimed directly at King Von, tying all the way back to old and deeply personal ops over the death of Chief Keef's blood cousin, Blood Money. The energy on Keef's verse been getting praised as a full comeback, with heads online saying Youngboy brought out Prime Keef. that vintage early 2010s aggression that put him on the map in the first place. And while Youngboy's contributions don't directly touch the Chicago beef, his bars are more about the bag, resilience, and his own personal struggles. Just having his name next to Keef's on that track list was more than enough to send absolute shockwaves through the hood and the internet alike. But yo, this ain't just about some beats and bars. It's never just about the music when you're dealing with this caliber of street politics. The timing, the sheer devastating, almost cinematic timing of this drop is what takes this from a controversial collab to an absolute five-alarm fire in the rap world. Lil Durk, the undisputed general of OTF, the man who mourned King Von like blood, the man who swore on everything that Von's death would get answered, the shot caller of that entire Chicago operation, is currently sitting behind federal walls. He got booked in late 2024 on murder-for-hire charges tied to an alleged hit on Quando Rondo in direct getback for Von's killing. The feds allege that Durk essentially ran OTF like a criminal enterprise, put bread on Quando Rondo's head, and tried to flee the country when the Alphabet Boys started closing in. His trial been getting pushed back over and over, from January 2025 to October 2025 to January 2026, and now word is it's slated for May 2026. So, peep the math on this. While Durk is fighting for his literal freedom behind bars, staring down a possible life bid over events that are directly linked to Von's death and the whole Youngboy OTF war, the man who's supposed to be from that same block, the man who's supposed to rep that same O-Block legacy, goes and drops a whole collab with the other side. You can see why the whole hood is heated. Socials went absolutely nuclear with criticism, with O-Block affiliates straight up calling Chief Keef a snake for turning his back on his roots. Comments flooded every platform, Instagram, TikTok, X, with hot takes ranging from raw anger to pure disbelief. Some called it diabolical. Others said Keef was foul and a traitor. Some of the more pointed reactions included O-Block figures saying things like he's O-Blocked from life.
Chief Keef worked with NBA Youngboy, and O-Block got mad. Chief Keef posted up a picture of Blood Money.
And that right there adds another layer to this whole situation, because right in the middle of all this backlash, Chief Keef changed his Instagram profile picture to Blood Money, his late cousin Big Glow, who was shot and killed in 2014. A lot of people interpreted that as a message, a statement, a subtle confirmation of something that's been whispered about in Chicago streets for over a decade.
Posted up a picture of Blood Money. So a lot of people say that's a confirmed, that's stamped it. Also, a couple days ago was Blood Money's birthday too, February 13th.
And that's what we're going to get into next, the Blood Money situation, the alleged backdooring, and why Chief Keef might have every reason in the world to not care about what O-Block thinks. The Blood Money backdoor, why Chief Keef doesn't owe O-Block anything. Now, to truly grasp why Chief Keef would pull this move, why he would willingly, knowingly, and seemingly, without giving a single solitary damn, collaborate with the very camp that O-Block and OTF considers their sworn, blood-sworn enemies, you gotta take it way back, way back, before the Rooms joint, before the Youngboy connection, before King Von even got popped in Atlanta. You gotta go all the way back to a day that changed the whole trajectory of Chief Keef's life, a day that, according to the people who really know him, rewired his entire worldview and his relationship with the neighborhood that birthed him. That day is April 9th, 2014, when Chief Keef's first cousin, Blood Money, government name Mario Hess, also known as Big Glow, got lit up in Chicago's Englewood neighborhood, catching 9 shots while sitting inside a whip. He was just 21 years old, and he had only recently touched down from a bid, trying to get his life right and build a name in the rap game alongside his famous cousin. Blood Money was more than just kin to Keef. He was more than just a cousin by blood. He was signed to Glow Gang. He was actively building a buzz in the rap game. He was supposed to be a foundational piece of the Glow Gang empire that Chief Keef was constructing from the ground up. His death didn't just snatch a family member from Keef. It took a piece of his future, a piece of his whole vision, and it shattered something inside him that, based on everything we've witnessed since, ain't never fully mended. Chief Keef mourned him publicly and openly, switched his socials to Blood Money, dropped music in his memory, and carried that pain with him in ways that became more and more visible as the years rolled by. But here's where the story takes a truly dark and deeply foul turn. The kind of turn that's been haunting Chicago's drill scene like a specter for over a decade. The persistent word on the street, now seemingly stamped by multiple sources and co-signed by people who were actually in the mix, that King Von and his close associate T-Roy were directly involved in Blood Money's death. The allegation is that Blood Money got backdoored by people who were supposed to be riding with him, people he was supposed to be able to trust with his life, according to street accounts that have been repeated in interviews, social media posts, and rap commentary for years, Von and T-Roy allegedly set the whole play up, exploiting the trust that comes with shared gang ties and hood connections to facilitate the hit. And while no arrests were ever made directly tying Von or T-Roy to Blood Money's murder, and these allegations remain legally unproven, the word on the street hasn't just persisted, it's grown louder with time, especially as more and more insiders have stepped up to speak on it. Now, O-Block affiliate J Hood went on the record in an interview with Cam Capone News and laid out exactly why Chief Keef cut ties with that whole world. When asked why Sosa never posted King Von or said anything positive about him after his passing, J Hood kept it 100.
We've talked about King Von and Sosa being good friends. Why do you think that Sosa hasn't really tweeted or really said a bunch of positive things or anything about King Von?
That question alone tells you everything. And then the answer came.
I thought I told you Von robbed him for 2 guns. Von robbed Sosa for 2 guns. He took 2 guns from him.
2 guns. That's what started the fracture, but it didn't stop there.
So after you do that to a man, ain't nobody gonna trust you no more. Sosa don't trust the guys.
J Hood then explained the broader pattern of betrayal, how Boss Top and other O-Block members broke into Keef's place, stole his jewelry and belongings, and how Von and T-Roy were essentially following Boss Top's lead in all of it.
Be back door. Be back door. And so Sosa did right regardless. He's still alive.
And there it is. Be backdoor. That's not just street talk. That's an O-Block insider essentially confirming the culture of betrayal that Chief Keef was navigating. J Hood went even further, explaining that Keef took the people he could trust, the ones who wouldn't try to overpower him, and left the rest behind.
Sosa ain't slow. That's what it is. He's not stupid. We might think he dumb, but it's a reason why he took the dudes that he took. He took them because they wasn't gonna try to overdo their position.
And that's the context that so many people miss. Chief Keef didn't just randomly decide to leave Chicago. He didn't just wake up one day and say, I'm done with these guys. There was a pattern, a long, documented, painful pattern of the very people who were supposed to have his back turning on him, robbing him, and allegedly even going after his blood family. Chicago rapper King Yella, who has been exceptionally vocal throughout this entire situation, posting videos, doing interviews, going live on social media to break down the real history, laid it out plainly for anybody willing to listen. He defended Chief Keef's Youngboy collab by stating in no uncertain terms that Von backdoored Blood Money, and that this betrayal is exactly why Keef distanced himself from Von and OTF all those years ago. He made the point that there are 0 joint songs between Chief Keef and King Von, not one, not a single solitary track in their entire catalogs, and that Keef never posted Von after his death, never mourned him publicly, never said a word. And he then posed the question that nobody on the O-Block side seems willing to answer. What loyalty did y'all expect this man to have after y'all killed his cousin? What exactly did you think was going to happen?
Chief Keef is out here living his best life.
Sosa out here living, man.
$500,000 in jewelry.
That bought the same day Durk went to jail, that had a $500,000. Yeah, I don't think Keef like Durk. There's no way. There's no way possible they like each other.
And when pressed on why he felt that way, Yella broke it down further.
Okay, how could he like him? Von got killed. You know, Von and them stole all his back in the day. So, Boss Top and all of them, they broke in there and stole his jewelry.
The picture becomes undeniable when you zoom out. Chief Keef reportedly confronted King Von directly at the Rolling Loud Festival, asking him point blank if he had involvement in Blood Money's death. Von denied it, but the fact that Keef felt the need to ask tells you exactly where his head was at. Even Trench's News spoke on it, giving his perspective as someone who knew Blood Money personally.
They was taunting him, saying they killed his cousin, was insinuating Von was insinuating he killed his cousin. And yeah, I think Keef had enough of it.
And then he doubled down.
He ain't said nothing about these guys in a long time, and they just keep on coming for him one way or another. So I think he just made that song.
So when people look at this Rooms collaboration and scream betrayal, what they're really missing is the decade plus of context behind it. Chief Keef didn't betray O-Block. In his eyes, and in the eyes of many who know the real story, O-Block betrayed him first. But then, the one person at the center of it all decided to speak, and instead of staying quiet, he started laughing. Lul Tim enters the chat, and he's not holding back. Now, with all that context on the table, the track, the backlash, the blood money allegations, the decade-long rift between Chief Keef and O-Block, the fractured loyalties that have been simmering beneath the surface for years, you would think this story had hit its peak. You would think there's nowhere left for this to go. You would think the drama had been fully unpacked, fully dissected, and that we could all catch our breath and process what just went down. But nah, you'd be dead wrong, because then, right when the fire was already burning at its absolute hottest, Lul Tim decided to open his mouth. And when Lul Tim speaks on anything whatsoever that even remotely touches O-Block and OTF, the internet doesn't just pay attention. It doesn't just take notice. The whole internet stops everything it's doing, hits pause, and watches, because this man carries a weight to his words that very few individuals in the culture can match. For those who need a quick refresher, Lul Tim is the man who was charged with fatally shooting King Von on November 6, 2020, outside the Monaco Hookah Lounge in Atlanta. The charges ended up getting tossed in August 2023 after prosecutors determined it was self-defense, citing video footage that showed Von as the aggressor. Since then, Lul Tim has been riding even tighter with NBA Youngboy's whole operation, even joining Youngboy's security team and pulling up on stage during his shows. So when the backlash from the Rooms collab started pouring in, when O-Block members and OTF affiliates started wilding out on social media, calling Chief Keef a snake and vowing all types of get back, Lul Tim saw his opening to pour gasoline on an already raging inferno, and he took it without blinking. He hopped on TikTok and dropped multiple short clips, filmed outside in a hoodie against a blue sky backdrop, cheesing ear to ear, laughing, throwing his hands around, and absolutely violating the entire O-Block and OTF camp for their reaction. And the core of his message was savagely simple.
Man, bro, did a song with Lul Tim.
Right off the top, he's acknowledging the situation with a grin on his face. He knows exactly what this collaboration means. He knows the history, he knows the pain, and he finds it amusing.
Shut y'all ass ain't gonna do what's up, man?
No subtlety, no diplomacy, no attempt whatsoever to be measured or thoughtful about the situation. Just raw, unfiltered taunting directed at the entire O-Block and OTF camp, and he wasn't done.
All that crying and shit about a song.
And then, the line that became the headline, the quote that got reposted thousands of times across every platform.
Get some money.
Get some money. That's his message to O-Block and OTF. Stop crying about a collaboration. Stop worrying about who's making music with whom. Go stack some bread. That's his position, and he delivered it while laughing directly into the camera. The videos went absolutely viral. And the thing is, and this is what makes the whole situation even more incendiary, even more provocative, this is far from the first time Lul Tim has gone out of his way to deliberately and unapologetically taunt OTF and the memory of King Von. This is a man who has made a habit, almost a ritual, out of poking the bear. He has repeatedly trolled Von posthumously, including on the actual anniversary of Von's death, November 6th, a date that O-Block mourns, and Lul Tim seemingly treats as something else entirely. He's previewed diss tracks with lyrics that leave absolutely nothing to the imagination. Bars like, "I had caught him out of town, he swung his fist and then I burnt him," directly, explicitly referencing the Atlanta incident that took Von's life. He released Off the List back in 2021, a track that directly disses King Von and OTF, where he openly boasts about the shooting without a hint of restraint. And another track, King Tim's Story, Crazy Story Remix, takes Von's own hit song, his signature storytelling record, and flips it entirely with lyrics like "Free King Tim, Smoking Von," turning Von's legacy into what he frames as his own victory lap. So this response to the Room's backlash isn't an isolated incident. It's part of a long, deliberate pattern of provocation. Lul Tim has made it very clear through his music, his social media, and his public statements that he feels zero remorse for what happened that night in Atlanta, and that he views the OTF camp's grief and anger as weakness. Now, the response from fans, from the broader hip-hop community, from the comment sections, from quote tweets, from every single corner of the internet where this story has been discussed, has been, as you would absolutely expect, completely and utterly divided right down the middle. Supporters of Tim and Youngboy see this entire response as bold, as justified, as a man who is simply keeping it real, and calling out what they perceive as fake loyalty. They praise him for focusing on business over beef, for not being afraid of the threats, for standing 10 toes down in the face of an entire city's wrath. And on the other side of the fence, the OTF loyalists, the Von supporters, the Durk Day Ones, the people who genuinely loved King Von and everything he represented, are absolutely furious. They're calling Lul Tim reckless, they're calling him disrespectful, they're calling him a dead man walking, and they are predicting, with the kind of certainty that only comes from knowing how these beefs tend to play out, that consequences are inevitably coming. The diss tracks keep coming, one after another, each one more more provocative than the last. The social media taunts keep flying back and forth like missiles across enemy lines. Meanwhile, Lil Durk sits in a federal holding facility, awaiting a trial that could determine whether he spends the rest of his natural life behind bars. Chief Keef is thriving in Los Angeles, touring, dropping music, building clothing lines, working on video games, accumulating the kind of generational wealth that most people from O Block could only ever dream about. NBA Youngboy continues to dominate streaming platforms from his house arrest in Utah, releasing project after project to a fan base that only seems to grow more devoted by the day. And Lul Tim, he's on TikTok, blowing smoke into the camera, flashing his gold grills, and telling the entire O Block and OTF camp to shut up and get some money. Whether you think this whole situation is entertainment, disrespect, a justified response to years of broken trust and betrayal, or simply the natural, inevitable consequence of a cycle of violence and spilled blood that has been spinning for over a decade, one thing is absolutely undeniable. The Room's collaboration has ripped open fractures in Chicago's rap scene that may never, ever fully heal. Chief Keef chose his side a long time ago, and based on everything we've laid out in this video, he may have chosen it the very day they allegedly took his cousin blood money from him. And Lul Tim, he's just here to remind everybody, with a smile on his face and not a single care in his heart, that he doesn't give a damn about any of it. If you enjoyed this video, click on the boxes playing on your screen to watch similar content.